Hello student. Today in this video, we'll discuss the first chapter of accountancy of class 11th, Introduction to Accounting. In this video, we'll discuss about the basic terms in accounting. Now we'll discuss the basic terms one by one. First, entity. Entity means a thing that has a definite individual existence. Business entity means a specially identifiable business enterprise like Super Bazaar, Hire Jewelers, ITC Limited, etc. An accounting system is always devised for a specific business entity, also called accounting entity. Now, when you talk about the first term in accounting about entity, entity means a thing that has a definite individual existence. So, whenever any business organization will get a separate legal existence, then you can call it to be a legal entity. Like you can take the name of your school, you can take the name of yourself. Clear? So any enterprise or any business enterprise will be known to be an entity like Tata, Birla, Reliance. Clear? And so on. So all these will be called to be an entity. Second, transaction. A event involving some value between two or more entities. It can be a purchase of goods, receipts of money, payment to a creditor, incurring expenses, etc. It may be a cash transaction or a credit transaction. Now the second term is transaction. So any economic event that will take place between two entities or more than two entities will be called to be a transaction. Now when I am talking about an economic event means where the exchange of goods and services for a value will take place either on credit basis or on cash basis. Like for example, if one entity purchase goods from the another entity, so it will be called a transaction between these two entities. Like rent paid. So here the transaction will take place between one entity, the landlord, and the second entity, the tenant. So whenever any event will take place between two entities which will have a value will known to be your transaction. As I've given the example, you purchase goods from Ram, you purchase machinery, you paid rent, you paid salary to the employees. So all these events clear involving some value like rent paid of rupees 2000 to the landlord. So we can call it to be a transaction. Third, assets. Assets are economic resources of an enterprise that can be usefully expressed in monetary terms. Assets are items of value used by the business in its operation. Now, when you talk about assets, assets are known to be the economic resources of an enterprise that can be usually expressed in monetary terms. So, any economic resource of an enterprise which can be expressed in monetary terms, which helps that organization in its operation, you can call it to be the assets of that particular business. Like for example, Super Bazaar owns a fleet of trucks which is used by it for delivering foodstuffs. So here these trucks will provide the economic benefit to the enterprise. So these trucks will be shown as an asset in the balance sheet of the business enterprise. Now these assets can be broadly classified into two types: fixed assets and current assets. Now when you talk about fixed assets are assets held on a long term basis such as land, building, machinery, plant, furniture and fixtures. These assets are used for the normal operation of the business. Now when you talk about fixed assets, these are the assets that will be held by the business for a long period. It means they will remain with the business over a period of more than one accounting period. And these assets are going to help the business in its day-to-day operation, or these assets are going to increase the productivity of the enterprise. So these are known to be your fixed assets, and these assets are not meant for sale. They are basically purchased to increase the productivity and operational efficiency of the business, and they remain with the business for a long period of time, or you can say more than one accounting period. So these will term to be your fixed assets, as we have given the example like land, building, machinery, plant, furniture and fixtures. The second is your current assets. Current assets are assets held on short-term basis such as debtors, account receivables, bills receivables, note receivables, stock that is inventory, temporary marketable securities, cash and bank balances. So the second classification is current assets. So you can say current assets are those assets which can be converted into cash within a short period of time, basically within a period of one accounting period. So these assets will be termed to be your current assets like bank, cash, stock, debtors. So all these will known to be the current assets of the business, and they can be easily converted into cash within a period of 1 year. The next term is liabilities. Now when you talk about liabilities, liabilities are obligation or debts that an enterprise has to pay at some time in the future. They represent creditors' claims on the firm's asset. Both small and big enterprises find it necessary to borrow money at one time or the other and to purchase goods on credit. Now when you talk about liabilities, liabilities are basically the obligations of the business or the debts of the business enterprise that it has to pay, clear, to someone at some time in future. It represents the creditor's claim, means from whom you have made purchase on credit, so of that individual's claim on the business assets. So you can say liabilities are the obligation or the debts that the business enterprise has to pay to someone in future. Like for example, if a business has taken a loan from the bank, so that loan will be the liability of the business because that loan has to be repaid back by the business to the bank with along with interest. So the obligation or the debt that has to be paid by the business to someone in future is known to be its liabilities. Now liabilities are classified as long term liabilities and short term liabilities, also known as short term liabilities. Now, or you could say short term liabilities are also known to be your current liabilities. Now long term liabilities. Long term liabilities are those that are usually payable after a period of 1 year. For example, a term loan from a financial institution or debentures, bonds issued by a company. Now, when you talk about long term liabilities are basically those liabilities which has to be paid by the business enterprise after a year or more than that. That is known to be a long term liability. Like, for example, if you have taken a loan from the bank or from a financial institution that has to be paid after 3 years, so it will be a long term liability. Or you have issued debentures and these debentures has to be redeemed after 15 years, so these are termed to be a long term liabilities because these liabilities need to be paid after a period of more than 1 year. The second is your short-term liabilities. Short-term liabilities are the obligation that are to be paid within a period of 1 year. For example, creditors, bills payable, bank overdraft. Now, when you talk about short-term liabilities or current liabilities are those liabilities which the business has to has to pay within a period of 1 year. Means within a period of 1 year means you have to pay them, like it may be 9 months, 10 months, 11 months. So these will be known to be your short-term liabilities. Some of the examples are like creditors, bills payable, bank overdraft. The next term is your capital. Now, when you talk about capital, the amount invested by the owner in the firm is known as capital. Now, when you talk about capital, capital is that amount that will be invested by the owner in the firm will be known to be capital. Now, this capital may be brought in form of cash or in form of assets by the owner for the business entity. Clear? Like if I want to start a business, clear? So I can bring my capital in the form of cash or in the form of assets. So whatever will be invested by the owner in the form of cash or in the form of assets will be known to be its capital in the business. And this capital is the obligation and a claim on the assets of the business of the owner. It is therefore shown as capital on the liability side of the business. Now, this capital of the owner will be shown on the liability side of the business, or you could say on the liability side of the balance sheet, because this capital has to be repaid back by the business to the owner when the business is going to get liquidated or when the business is going to be wind up. The next term is sales. Sales are total revenues from goods or services sold or provided to customers. Sale may be cash sales or credit sales. Now, when you talk about sales, sales are basically the total revenues that the business will earn from the sale of goods or services. Clear? And it may be cash sale or credit sale. Means you can sell your goods on cash basis. Means when you will make the sale of your goods, you are going to get the money in return. Or credit sales means you will make the sale of the goods, but you are not going to receive the money right now or immediately. Clear? But you will have the legal right to receive the amount of the same in future. So that is what sales. So sales are basically the total revenues that the business is going to receive after the sale of goods or services. Now the next is revenues. These are the amounts of the business earned by selling its products or providing services to customers, called sales revenue. Other items of revenue common to many businesses are commission, interest, dividends, royalties, rent received, etc. Revenue is also called income. Now, the next term is your revenue. So, revenue is basically the amounts that you are going to receive or the business is going to receive after the sale of its goods or after providing the services to its customers. So, after the sale, whatever amount you are going to receive, it is known to be the revenue of the business. Like you have given the example, like for many business houses, commission is a revenue. So if that particular business is a financial, or you could say financial institution, so commission, interest, dividends, royalties, and so on, these will be called to be its revenues. The next term is expenses. Now, when you talk about expenses, expenses are basically the cost incurred by a business in the process of earning revenue. So you can call them to be expenses. Now, while earning your revenues, if any cost will be incurred by the business for earning those revenues, that cost will be known to be the expenses of the business. Generally, expenses are measured by the cost of assets consumed or services used during an accounting period. The usual items of expenses are depreciation, rent, wages, salaries, interest, cost of heater, light and water, telephone, etc. So you can call them to the examples of expenses because these are the costs that will be incurred for earning your revenues. Like for example, if we are making or we are converting the raw material into finished product with the help of laborers, we are paying wages to them. When wages will be paid to those individuals, then only they are going to help in the production of the goods, and then only these goods will be sold in the market, and with the help of sale you are going to earn revenue. So you can say whatever cost that will be incurred for earning revenue will be known to be its expense. The next term is expenditure. Now when you talk about expenditure are basically the bigger amount that you are spending, clear, for purchasing of assets with the help of which you are going to increase the operational efficiency of the business. So that will be known to be your expenditure. Like for example, if you are making purchase of furniture, purchase of building, purchase of land, purchase of equipments, clear, so these will be known to be the expenditure of the business, and whenever expenditures will be incurred, it is going to increase the assets of the business, clear. And if you are getting the benefit of that expenditure for more than one accounting period, then it will be called to be a capital expenditure. And if you are going to get the benefit of the same within one accounting period, then it will call to be a revenue expenditure. So expenditures may be of two kinds. One, capital expenditure. It means if you are going to get the benefit of that expenditure for more than one accounting period, then you can call it to be capital expenditure. Like I've said, purchase of machine, purchase of land, purchase of building, they are going to benefit the business for more than one accounting period. So they will call to be what? The capital expenditure. Whereas you will have the expenses of small nature which are going to get the benefit, which are going to give benefit for less than one accounting period or for one accounting period, then they will call to be your revenue expenditures, clear, and we call them in short as expenses. The next term is profit. Now when you talk about profit, while making the comparison between your revenues and your expenses for a particular accounting period, then you will came to know about the profit of that business. How? If your revenues of that accounting period, clear, are more than the expenses for that accounting period, then the profit will be there, clear. So you can say in a nutshell, profit is equals to revenue minus expenses, or the excess of revenues over its expenses, then it is known to be the profit of the business. The next term is your gain. Now when you talk about gain, a profit that arises from events or transactions which are incidental to the business, such as sale of fixed assets, winning a court case, appreciation in the value of an asset. So there is a difference between profit and gain. Profit will be the normal routine of the business, whereas when we talk about gain, gain is the profit that will arise to the business which are incidental to business. Incidental means they are not of recurring nature for the business, clear. Like you have an old machine with you and you sell it at a profit margin, then it will call to be a gain, not the profit for the business. Profit will basically be earned in the dealings in which the business deals, or you could say in the transaction in which the business deals. So selling of fixed assets is not a normal routine of the business. So if any excess amount you are receiving over the book value, then it will be called to be the gain of the business. Like you win a court case. After winning a court case, you get some money out of that. So it will be a gain for the business, not a profit. Appreciation in the value of an asset. Like you have land with you, clear, or you have made an investment in land. Like for example, while purchasing, at the time of purchase, you have made an investment of rupees 10 lakh. Now the value of the same land has gone up to 20 lakh. So this 10 lakh will be known to be what? Or the difference of in the value of the land will be known to be the gain for the business, because it is of incidental nature. So gain will be of incidental nature. The next term is loss. It's just the opposite of your profit. If your expenses for that accounting period will be more than the revenues earned out of those expenses, clear, then it will be called to be a loss for the business. Or it also refers to money or money's worth lost, clear. So whenever cost will or you could say the expenses will exceed its revenues for that particular accounting period, it will be known to be loss for the business. Loss examples, clear, cash or goods lost by theft or a fire accident, clear. Even you have a loss at the time of sale of fixed assets, so all will be under your loss or will be taken into consideration as loss. The next is your discount. Discount is basically the deduction in the price of the goods sold. It is offered in two ways. Offering deduction of agreed percentage of list price at the time selling goods is one way of giving discount. Such discount is called trade discount. It is generally offered by manufacturers to wholesalers and by wholesalers to retailers. After selling the goods on credit basis, the debtors may be given a certain deduction in the amount due in case if they pay the amount within the stipulated period or earlier. This deduction is given at the time of payment on the amount payable. Hence, it is called cash discount. Cash discount act as an incentive that encourages prompt payment by the debtors. Now, when we talk about discount, discount is basically the deduction in the price of the goods sold. So, whenever any deduction in the price of the goods sold will be made, you can call it to be discount. Like for example, if an article of 100 will be sold at 80, so you can call there will be a deduction of 20 rupees. So this 20 rupees will be known to be a discount. Now this discount can be offered in two ways. First, it can be offered at the time of sales, and it is basically being given by the manufacturer to the wholesaler or by the wholesaler to the retailers when they want to make increase in their sales volume. Like for example, if at the time of sales goods worth rupees 1 lakh are given to an individual at rupees 90,000. So here 10,000 rupees discount has been offered to increase the sales volume because you want to remain in competition, or the competitive prices have to be provided to the individual, then only they are going to make purchase from you. So at the time of sales you are going to provide trade discount. In accounting, trade discount will be provided at the time of sales. The amount will be calculated, clear. Now for example, if you sold goods to Ram of rupees 1 lakh at a trade discount of 10%. So you will calculate the trade discount here. Like for example, the goods are of worth rupees 1 lakh and you have provided him 10% trade discount. So we will calculate trade discount as 1 lakh into 10 by 100 and it's rupees 10,000. While showing it in the books of accounts, clear, you will make the entry RAM account debit to sales and the amount will be 90,000, 90,000. It means what? You will calculate trade discount, but you will not show trade discount in the books of accounts. It just provided to increase the sales volume, because if you will provide more and more trade discount, means individuals are going to make more and more purchase from you. The second is your cash discount. Cash discount is basically given at the time when you need your money earlier, or you want prompt payments from your debtors. If you have made credit sales, now you want your money earlier, or you want to get prompt payments from them, so you can provide them cash discount. Like for example, when you have sold goods to Ram at a trade discount of 10%, so that individual has to pay now 90,000 rupees to you. Like for example, these goods has been sold to him for a credit of 6 months. Now you want Ram to make you early payment, and you told Ram that if you will make early payment, we are going to provide 5% per annum discount to you on prompt payments. Clear? Now to avail this benefit, if Ram pays you the money earlier, like 2 months before, so you are going to provide him 2 months cash discount, because now how you are going to calculate that amount? 90,000 has to be paid by Ram, so 90,000 into, clear, if you are providing 5% per annum cash discount, so 5 by 100 into, he's making 2 months earlier payment or 2 months prior payment, so you are going to provide him 2 months cash discount, so 2 upon 12, so whatever amount will come, you are going to give as discount, cash discount to Ram. Now when you will receive this amount, your entry will be cash account debit, discount account debit to Ram account. So whatever amount you are going to receive, you will write in cash. Whatever discount you have provided to Ram, you will write it as discount, and to Ram you are going to write as 90,000. So what does it mean? It means while giving cash discount to receive your money earlier or to get prompt payments from your debtors, cash discount will be calculated as well as it will be shown in the books of accounts as discount. As it's a loss for the business, you will debit it. So you can say there are two kinds of discount. One is trade discount and the another is your cash discount. In nutshell, you can say trade discount is the discount which will be provided by the business, clear, to its customers, so that there can be increase in the sales volume. While the another is cash discount, it will be provided by the business houses to have their prompt payments from the debtors or to receive the amount from the debtors earlier. The next is your voucher. Vouchers are basically the documentary evidence in support of a transaction. Clear? For example, if the business purchase machine from an enterprise, so they will ask, like for example, if this purchase is on cash basis, then the business is going to ask for a cash memo. So this cash memo will act as a voucher for the business, because this voucher or this document is acting as an evidence in support of the transaction. So vouchers are basically what? The documentary evidence in support of a transaction. Like if we deposit money into the bank, clear, we fill pay slip over there. So that pay slip counterfoil will be act as an evidence for that particular transaction. So it will be called to be a voucher. So any documentary evidence that supports the transaction will be called to be voucher. Goods. Goods basically refers to the products in which the business units is dealing, in terms of which it is buying and selling or producing and selling. The items that are purchased for use in the business are not called goods. For example, for a furniture dealer, purchase of chairs and tables is termed as goods, while for other it is furniture and it is treated as an asset. Similarly, for a stationery merchant, stationery is goods, whereas for others it is an item of expense, not purchase. Now, when we talk about goods, goods are what? Goods are those articles or those products or those commodities in which the business deals. So it will be a routine of that particular business to deal in that. And only it will be called to be a goods. Like for example, for a business house which is dealing in furniture articles, for that particular business, chair, desk, table, stool, all these will be called to be goods. Whereas the same will be called to be an assets, clear, in school, because in school these furnitures will be utilized for the purpose of education. So goods are those articles or products in which the business deals, and the purchase and sale of the same will take place in the business, and these goods are going to help out the business to earn its revenue. The next is your drawings. Withdrawal of money and or goods by the owner from the business for personal use is known to be or known as drawings. If any goods or any article, cash or anything that will be withdrawn by the owner from the business for his or her personal use, then that particular amount will be known to be the drawings of the individual. And this drawing is going to reduce the capital of that individual in the business. So in a nutshell, you can say drawing is the withdrawal of money, goods by the owner from the business for his or her personal use. And whenever he or she does so, it is also going to reduce the capital of that business, of that individual in the business. The next is your purchases. Now, when you talk about purchases are total amounts of goods procured by a business on credit and on cash for use or sale. Like for example, if you talk about a manufacturing concern, clear, they are going to purchase the raw material and now they are going to process that raw material into finished product, and now they will sell the same in the market to earn revenue. So while making the purchase of raw material for further process and sale, then these amounts will be known to be what? The purchase of the business. Like in a trading concern, purchases are made of merchandise for resale with or without processing. Clear? In a manufacturing concern, raw material are purchased, processed further into finished goods and then sold. So purchases may be cash purchase or credit purchase. Either you can make the purchase on cash or you can make the purchase on credit. But one thing has to be remember, whenever you are making the purchase, clear, whatever you are purchasing, it should be sold back, or it should be what? Resale purpose. If it is for consumption purpose, not for the resale purpose, then you will not call it to be purchase. Like for example, A auto dealer, clear, for a auto dealer who's purchasing trucks for the resale purpose, for that particular business these trucks will be called to be the purchase, because they purchase those trucks for resale. So these will be called to what? Purchase. On the other hand, if being an enterprise, clear, or you are a transport business owner, you purchase those trucks for the fleet of your business, then these trucks will be called to be your assets, not the purchase. So this has to be remembered. So purchases are total amounts of goods procured by a business on credit or on cash for use or for sale. It's known to be their purchase. The next is your stock. Stock is a measure of something on hand, goods, spares, and other items in a business. It is called stock in hand. In a trading concern, the stock on hand is the amount of goods which are lying unsold as at the end of the accounting period, is called closing stock, ending inventory. In a manufacturing concern, a company, closing stock comprises raw material, semi-finished goods, and finished goods on hand on the closing date. Similarly, opening stock is the amount of stock at the beginning of the accounting period. Now, when we talk about stock, like stock, you can say, is a measure of something, means you are going to measure it in terms of money, and it can be something like any goods that you are going to have in hand, any spare parts that you are going to have, or any, could say, finished or semi finished raw material, clear, or finished products that you are going to have in the business, clear, that are known to be the stock of the business. Like for a manufacturing concern, clear, they can have the stock of raw material, they can have the stock of their semi finished product, they can have the stock of their finished products, while for a trading concern they can have the stock of unsold items. So basically we have two kinds of stocks, one closing stock and the another is your opening stock. So anything that will be left with the business at the end of the accounting period will be known to be your closing stock, and whatever will be held by the business in the beginning of the accounting period will be known to be your opening stock. So stock at the end will be known to be a closing stock, and stock in the beginning of the accounting period will be known to be your opening stock. The next is your debtors. Now when we talk about debtors, debtors are persons and or other entities who owe to an enterprise an amount for buying goods and services on credit. The total amount standing against such persons and or entities on the closing date is shown in the balance sheet as sundry debtor or debtors on the asset side. Now when you talk about debtors, debtors are basically those individuals who have bought something on credit from the business and now they have to make the payment for the same to the business. So they owe to an enterprise an amount for buying goods and services on credit. So they will, what they will do, they will make a purchase on credit from the business, and for the same, clear, they will be liable to make the payment to the business in near future. So these individuals will be known to be the debtors for the business. So it means what? Debtors are those individuals from whom the business has to receive the amount for the goods sold to them on credit, and these debtors will be shown on the asset side of the balance sheet. The next is your creditors. Creditors are persons and or other entities who have to be paid by an enterprise an amount providing the enterprise goods and services on credit. The total amount standing to the favor of such persons and or entities on the closing date is shown in the balance sheet as sundry creditors on the liability side. Now, when you talk about creditors, creditors are basically those individuals or those persons from whom the business has purchased something on credit, and for the same the business is liable to make the payment to them in near future. So these individuals will be known to be the creditors for the business. So in a nutshell, you can say creditors are those individuals from whom the business has purchased something on credit, and now the business has the obligation to make the payment for the same to them in near future. So these are the liabilities of the business, and they will be shown on the liability side of the balance sheet. So these are some of the basic terms related to your accounting. Hope you have understand them. Thank you for your patience listening.